Now, I know, you're not really into the whole music scene, but
I don't do music.
no, yeah. This past week, Lollapalooza happened. Lala has been, it's been around a while. Everyone knows Lala. And this one is noteworthy because of the whole, pandemic situation. And this is like the first big festival since we went into lockdown last March.
Right.
Some big names, Megan, Post Malone, the normal
Baby.
Yeah, well, until he wasn't.
Well, then Thanos came.
Yeah, right.
Twitter snapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah. So it ran, and what they said they were going to do this year differently is not only would they be checking IDs at the front, but they would be checking vaccination cards. So naturally, I'm not sure if you've seen the videos, people were like sprinting in masses so they couldn't all be stopped. They were literally like knocking over fences and shit to
Sounds
get
alright.
in. Yeah. To like
People
avoid.
are animals.
Yeah, right. And so, probably a lot of unvaccinated people were there. And a lot of people showed up. They pulled 385,000 people there.
That's a few people.
For reference, we're 2. So that's a lot.
Right, yeah. 2 people for scale does make it seem quite large.
Yeah, right? It's pretty crazy. So that kind of begs the question, is now a good time for music festivals? Do you think?
I mean, heavens no.
Right.
I mean, like, it feels obvious to say.
Right.
But I suppose in practice it doesn't actually seem like it's very obvious to a lot of people. I've kind of been debating this with myself a little bit because it's nice to see things open. I think everybody enjoys the image, the feeling. But in the presence of all the like rapidly turning around infection numbers, I think the error of our ways is pretty obvious.
Right. And you're seeing like that Lala poster that came out and they just replaced every single name with the Delta variant.
Right. Oh man, but the Lambda variant is headlining over here, dude.
Oh, true. So I'm looking here, and so for reference, the province of Ontario here in Canada is sitting around an 80% vaccination rate right now.
Not bad. It's not bad.
Outdoor gatherings are limited to 100 people. Chicago is sitting at a 52.6% completed vaccination rate.
A little less good.
And a lot more people.
Yeah, facts.
It's concerning. And like I'm for live music coming back, but I feel like we should have regular live music before a festival,
It does seem a little crazy to jump from nothing to pack the park, get everybody over here.
Like you saw those pictures, they were literally like they probably couldn't move. Someone was like, "How do you go to the bathroom?" And I was like, "Right?
You just do.
You just go.
You just
dude.
start going, dude." I was looking at like photos of like people all like sardines into the trains up in Chicago. Like, damn.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Whole city a super spreader event.
Right? And so in looking at all these Twitter things, we end up in a conversation in the podcast. We talked about are scalpers the problem, or is this, or like, should we be angry at scalpers? And we kind of end up in a situation similar to that. In do we blame the artists?
Oh,
like for pulling 400,000 people Like like I saw the video that I saw associated with this tweet was Megan going crazy, and if obviously she's Megan, and you look out at this crowd and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, you can go all the way up the chain, right? Where it would be like, well, it's kind of like, a little bit their tour manager's call, and then it's like, well, it's like the festival's call, and then you go to the governments and like whatever. But like, you can run it up as far as you want, but do we blame the artists? Yeah, they had a tough time in the pandemic because not being able to perform live music in a world where streaming music it sucks. Um, it is awful for them, right? So they go out to, get paid to be at a festival, but at the same time, 400,000 people.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about it in that frame, and it's an interesting point because part of me wants, like, my gut reaction wants to say no because, like, I know a lot of artists on a smaller scale that were pretty profoundly affected.
Right.
But that's not really who we're talking about. Because in a sense, you're right. Streaming numbers are dog shit. The money you make from streaming is dog shit. Most of the money's in merchant tours.
Right. Like,
And festivals are a tremendously large payday for a lot of these artists, especially the headlining ones that we've mentioned.
exactly.
But you raise a valid point in that they are, like, no matter how far you run up the flagpole, one person has to agree to do something, and that is the artist. And that's the person who has the pull to bring all these hundreds of thousands of people out. So, I mean, yeah, to a certain degree, I think there is an inclination to point the finger at artists kind of facilitating the environment. Which is it's harder to firmly want to blame, artists further down the bill. But as far as people like Megan, people like, who else was out there? Post.
Posty.
People like fucking DaBaby.
Yeah.
I know y'all lost a lot of money, but y'all still got money. I'm not really concerned about that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess so. There is a part of me that would say blame them.
I wonder if this does become a huge issue, like if numbers in Chicago go stupid, it if artists will take responsibility.
Unlikely.
I also think it's unlikely. It would be oh no, I was gonna say, was Lil Nas X there, but he was in court, wasn't he? He's got a whole court case to deal with right now.
There's a thing going on, isn't there?
But it would be interesting to see because there's one artist that I follow who's rather political, who was at the festival, Grandson. And he's like been very vocal about the pandemic and everything. And I'm like, so what happens here? It's like your values seem to like be like really, left and like progressive and such. But like I'd be interested to see if anyone actually goes, "Hey, my bad, dude." Right?
I don't think the artists that have chosen to participate in a lot of these festival cycles are going to be the types of artists to try to wear that type of responsibility. I think the artists that would already didn't do it,
Yeah. And kind of for reference as well, when we were talking about streaming numbers, there was a band that was selling merch that one of their shirts said this t-shirt's worth 25,000 streams. A tour t-shirt's worth like $25 ish.
Right.
It's not good. So like, yeah, you gotta get your money. Here's the thing for me is like, you think Megan's struggling?
No,
I don't.
No, heavens no.
The people halfway, like all the way down the bill, are like, you know what? Sure, you need the cash, right?
Yeah, I'd be inclined to say so. Yeah.
Post doesn't need to be there.
No, he sure fucking doesn't. No, anybody with a brand deal with a shoe company does not need to be there. Talking about you, Jack Harlow. I'm talking about you, Post Malone. I'm talking about you, anybody, any of these people.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like I'm looking forward to live music, but there needs to be like it really didn't feel like there was a ramp up at all. It
No, it
was
really
just
was 0 to everything.
here's festivals. And obviously they got in the video that I saw where people were like rushing the fence. They ended up stopping this one dude and he was like the one guy with a prosthetic leg.
Uh,
um,
well,
but it's
son,
like
you were straggling for a reason. Should have brought your running blade.
it's like, man, like how do you it's not even there frankly is nothing they could have done to prepare. There is absolutely nothing. So
Yeah, no.
you just shouldn't have done it. It's like it's not like we weren't prepared. It's like you know you're Lala and you know everyone's been inside.
Everyone has been inside Lala.
You're so right.
You know, I do kind of want to. Now that I've said it and I've thought about it, I do want to backtrack a vague amount.
Okay.
Um, because somebody at the end of the day organized the festival, called the labels, contacted artists, offered money.
Yeah.
And it is hard, understandably, to say no to massive festival dollars like the ones that you get at Lollapalooza. So when they say, hey, the show's going on, we've got X amount of dollars for you to come perform, saying no is pretty hard. Especially for how big the look is going to be at like one of the first festivals back out of the pandemic, quote unquote.
Oh, absolutely. Some of those artists have never seen and will never see, uh, crowds that they saw last week.
Facts, big facts. So to some degree, I want to give some people grace. Again, I'm not really talking about the massive artists that
Right, you're mid to your B and C list Lala people.
I really don't want to point a finger at y'all because like y'all have been struggling as much as anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been a complete shutdown of your income probably the last year and a half. So I get that.
If you can pay rent off Spotify streams, you didn't need to be there.
Yeah, bro, stay home. Bro, chill out.
That's kind of all I had. It's just kind of I saw the question of do we blame the artists, and it did come back to me as like that discussion we had on the hot takes episode of the podcast where it was like scalpers aren't the problem, it's the system, and it's like yeah, but they're still assholes, you know.
At the end of the day, I think I land in the same place that I landed in that discussion. Is we can just blame capitalism.
Oh, absolutely. But
Fuck
that doesn't mean we
capitalism,
should
dog.
only blame that, right?
No, we definitely all share a bit of blame because we're all capitalism's dirty little simps.
Exactly.
We're all just trying to pay for capitalism's feet pics.
I guess we are, aren't we?
We are. We are.
And so at the end of the day, it's not the time for festivals, and we can blame every level of government, Lollapalooza, the big name artists, and everyone who attended. Really.
And DaBaby.
Oh, I also don't blame the roadies.
Well, no, they're especially because that's most of the people I know are on like engineer and roadie tier, and these motherfuckers need jobs again. Let me tell you,
There's a regular.
these boys been struggling.
There was a regular who was at Starbucks who would come in, and he was a roadie, and he was just always so depressed. I'm like, man, I feel so bad for you. Like, I think I want live music back. You need live music back.
Yeah. Tell that to Crew, dude. Those guys are hurting.
Yeah. Another band I listen
And
to.
me too. Damn.
I want it, dude, but like, not as much as you, but like, still.
I'm a studio dude, so I do okay. But man, it's like it's slowed traffic down by a lot.
Yeah. Which is kind of like weird in a way. In a way. It's like, since you can't perform live, wouldn't you want to be in the studio more?
Only trouble is that it's like domino effects with people's money.
Yeah, it's
like,
true.
Artists aren't getting money from shows, from whatever they're doing, da 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 da. means there's not really studio funds to go, waste, 35 an hour for me to tell them their shit sucks.
Can you turn me up? No.
Nah, you sound fine. Keep going. No, it's just one of those, like, because it was something that took a little while longer to like feel the effects of, but as shows dried up, I could like see everybody's like desire to network and you know rub elbows and shit and spend a little money to do some studio time. It slowly started disappearing. Dominoes fall.
I know. Again, like everything. It seems like whenever I talk about how shit the music industry is, it's like, and I know a band that did merch about this, and it's like, buy merch, please buy merch, everyone buy merch from your favorite band. The merch that I'm talking about, one of North Lane, they released a T-shirt where they were like, every dollar we make off this T-shirt is going to the road crew.
Nice.
I was like, damn, that's so
Love
sick.
That's real shit.
And then I went to buy one, and it was like $100. Well, it wasn't $100 T-shirt. It was with shipping because they're like Australian. It was like,
right.
It's $100 T-shirt, and I'm like, damn, I would have. Know that it was in the cart.
That raises up a different point that I've always thought about. If you're gonna be an artist, don't be from Australia. Right. And if you are, move. Because touring is going to be expensive for you. Shipping your merch is going to be expensive for your fans. Move.
Conversely, they had a great time through the pandemic. They were done like a couple months in.
True, but then what are you going to do? Play 1,000 shows in Sydney?
Literally, yeah. They were like, they've had shows already. They've been having shows. It's like, damn.
Just Australians patting Australians on the back.
Sick.
God damn it.
2 of my favorite metal bands are Australian.
One of my old favorite bands is Australian.
Well, there you go.
Shout out Closure in Moscow. Go stream one of their old albums.
Go, actually, no, I can't even say stream one of my 2 bands' new albums because neither of them have new albums.
Maybe they would if they'd been making money from shows during the pandemic.
North Lane's new album is coming out at some point. It's just finished mastering, so boom.
Damn, you know that it just finished mastering?
Yeah, they tweeted it out.
That's crazy.
Right? Anyway.
Feels still up to date.
This is the second porta potty of all time.
Hoggers, dude.
We did the first one. We're number 2. This one's the more like traditional format. I feel like the road trip is less of a porta potty and more of like a...
That's just some bullshit.
Yeah, this one's focused. Like
laser
a porta
focused.
Potty should be.
We didn't meander at all.
No, that was fantastic. Look at us go. Staying on topic.
Love us.
So thanks to everybody for tuning in. Yeah, just subscribe, bell. Do that. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.